Hey there, are you interested in moving to somewhere in Boise or the Treasure Valley area and you're seeing our market prices just go up at a rapid rate? Well, today I'm bringing on a builder to give that builder's perspective of maybe why you're seeing those prices increase. So if you're interested in hearing more about that, then stick around. Hi there, my name is Rebelann-Mueller and I'm a realtor here in the Boise and Treasure Valley area with Better Homes and Gardens 43 Degrees North Real Estate. I moved here about 17 years ago with my family from California, but now I'm lucky enough that I get to help others just like you do the exact same thing. So if you're interested in moving to the area, down below in the description of this video is a relocation guide. Just click the link and that'll go straight to your inbox. But in this market today, what we're seeing is that it's super hard for buyers. We have prices soaring and we have inventory dropping. So I thought that it would be a great idea to bring on a local builder here who's also an agent with Better Homes and Gardens 43 Degrees North to give us perspective from the builder side of things to help you understand the market a little bit better and to gain some perspective and shed some light to help put you in the best position possible when you are ready to make that move. Hi, Tyler.
That was awesome.
Boom, I did it. Okay.
Yeah, you did good.
Whew, okay.
Nailed that. You freaking nailed it. Okay.
All right, so Tyler, who are you? Why are you here?
Okay. Well, thanks for the introduction, Rebel. My name is Tyler Bozier. I am the owner of B&B Custom Homes. Like you said, I'm also an agent with Better Homes and Gardens Real Estate 43 North. I was born and raised here in the Treasure Valley. I grew up in Caldwell and Meridian, and I still reside here. I've been in the home building industry for, 15, 20 years now. I started out as a subcontractor, as a framing contractor. I did that for 15 years. And then about 6 years ago, I got licensed as a realtor and a home builder.
Okay.
So yeah, we're seeing a crazy market right now.
It is insane.
I know,
So
right?
what communities and where do you build?
So we're kind of all over the valley. We work in Canyon County and Ada County. Stella's Point, Lava Springs, Lava Falls.
And those are in
Canyon
Nampa?
County, yeah, city of Nampa. Timberstone is another one. We're out building houses on the golf course. We do a lot of build on your own land. So we'll do acreage property, stuff like that.
Okay.
Ada County, we've got homes going in Cabin Ridge, Fairborn. We've got stuff
and those
going
are in
out.
Meridian?
Yeah, Meridian area. And then again, some of the build on your own lots over in Boise and stuff. And then we've got some communities coming up. Star River Ranch is a pretty high-end luxury community that we're really excited about.
What are the price points in there? I've driven out there and those lots are beautiful.
They are, yeah.
Water lots, right?
Right.
With
We won't give you any prices, right?
Right?
Yeah,
That's exactly what we're talking about today.
Yeah,
Why we can't get any prices from these builders.
Right. You know, we've kind of got a perfect storm brewing right now. Obviously, you see as an agent the amount of people moving to town right now.
I do.
Is nothing like I've ever seen, you know, since I've lived here. I think the secret's out about Boise and what we have to offer and what, you know, the quality of life is here. So, you know, I think us and a lot of the other home builders out here in the valley and stuff, we're very welcoming to that. We want to help people. We're trying to get homes out there, but like you said, right now we're running into some challenges on, you know, pricing, materials. It's just things are moving so fast right now. Yeah.
So one of my biggest challenges as a buyer's agent and helping people relocate to the area is actually my clients will send me a photo, they'll snap a photo, and then they'll send it to me and say, hey, what's up with this house? What's the pricing? Can I get the finishes so we know what's going on? Can we make changes to those finishes, if any? And I'll call the listing agents, and the listing agents won't be able to give me any information on that. They won't be able to tell me what the finishes are because the builder won't give them.
Right.
They won't be able to tell me what the price point's going to be because the builder won't say, and they don't know when it's going to be listed.
Right.
So those are some challenges that I'm running into, and buyers are really frustrated about that. And it's difficult to explain to them why that's happening without sounding like I'm not advocating for them on their behalf. So That's one of the reasons why I thought it would be great to get your perspective as a builder on why we can't get that information right now.
You know, I mean, great questions, right? If you're the buyers, I mean, I think they've got some legitimate, you know, concerns there. And you know, I'm not speaking for all builders. I'll speak for myself and some of the guys I've talked to in the industry that are home builders here locally. There's a lot of variables, one of which pricing, right? We're seeing a 2.5% increase in lumber prices per week right now.
Which is crazy. So when you, because so you said you were in framing before, right?
Yeah.
So if you were in framing before, what was the price per square foot for framing before versus now what you're seeing?
Yeah, so labor, I mean, I should have stayed being a framer, right? Labor, you know, price per foot on labor for framing, you know, we used to do big custom homes for $250, $3 a foot. You know, nowadays it's a struggle for me to get guys to show up at $6, going on $7 a foot now, just to get them to the job site. And so, you know, that's one side of it. The other side of it's materials. The labor, or sorry, the labor, we've kind of, you know, we've been building that in as we go, but the material side of things, when you're seeing that kind of increase on a per week basis, you know, you're talking 15% a month. It used to be we'd submit a permit in some of these jurisdictions, 2 weeks, we'd have our permits back. Another week or so, we'd have a foundation in the ground. So if I bid a job out, my lumber quote was good for 30 days. Usually we were shipping within that 30 days to get that house going. Nowadays, you're seeing permit turn times of 2 months, 3 months, you know, and all the while materials are increasing as you go. Our build cycles are out. I don't believe our build cycle itself is out, but the permitting cycle and the whole front end of the project. So, you know, we're quoting a number in December on lumber, and we're starting those homes this week.
Right.
In March, end of March, April now, right?
So
it's
are
April.
you, it's April 1st today.
Yeah.
Well, tomorrow, Friday is going to be the second.
Right, yeah.
But so when you are looking at homes that were spec homes, right? So those spec homes are homes that you have the plans for already and you've gone ahead and permitted those and you're building them on a lot, and you go ahead and give that pricing out and you sell that home before it's hit the MLS or anything else. So that would be like a pre-sold, correct?
Right.
Okay, and so when you're giving out that pricing, so we've worked together before in the past, right?
Yeah.
And my clients are basically walking into equity at that point, which means that you've actually at that point lost out on some equity yourself.
For sure.
And shooting yourself in the foot. So do you feel that that's one of the reasons why builders are not giving out the pricing is because it costs so much more to build the home, and they're waiting to get that pricing and know what their margins are going to actually be before they give out that pricing?
Yeah, and like you said, you know, home A sitting next to home B, same floor plan, you know, we're seeing an increase from one to the other, $30,000, $40,000, $50,000. And so you're right, you know, the other side of it is, you know, we bid these jobs out, we get our numbers, our price per foot from subs, but they're seeing increases along the way. And so I think as builders, we're kind of waiting for the dust to settle.
Right, that's a good way to put it.
Like
actually.
you said, wait for the dust to settle, figure out what our pricing is. And it's not about, you know, we're out there, everybody's trying to get top dollar. I mean, I think we're trying to be competitive in the market, realizing, I mean, there's not a builder out there that doesn't realize, you know, homes with these materials increase aren't going to make appraisal sometimes, you know, and that's going to be on a buyer to make that difference up. We're not padding our checkbooks for sure.
So your margins, margins are not increasing significantly.
Absolutely,
Are they staying the same, or are they actually decreasing slightly?
I would say, and I think I'm speaking for a lot of builders and subcontractors. You know, we're doing more work today and being more creative in getting these homes done than we've ever had to be. And our margins are the same, if not decreasing. You know, there's a few homes we're going to build this year for an education, you know, and not for a profit, not for, and that's, you know, I think.
What do you mean for an education? What do you mean by that?
Basically, you know, some of these jobs, that's how tight our margins are getting.
Okay.
Right. Which it's, we almost
more
have
for
to,
the experience.
Yeah,
than
exactly.
Just the
for
profit.
sure.
Okay.
And I think that boils down to, you know, lumber was going up. I know, speaking to the pre-solds and stuff, you know, if we lock a client in, call it January 1st, right? That's when home goes to permit. That's when contracts get signed. That's when all that happens. If it's March before we're digging because we're waiting on a permit, and then you've got another month in footings, foundation, it's been 4 months of market increase. In the last 4 months, our market's increased 60%. By signing on that dotted line for a contract or the purchase price, we're going to take the bath on
You're
that.
taking a hit already,
huge,
right?
Huge.
So are you actually accepting any pre-sold contracts right now? Meaning that there's a lot and you have a spec home that's going on it and you're not listing it on the MLS. Are you willing to take an offer on that? Or are you even
It's so
just
funny. It's like a
entertaining that
case
at all?
by case,
Okay.
right? And really what that boils down to is the community we're in. We love building custom homes. We love working with people. I would say on the spectrum, we're more custom than a lot, with regards to options, stuff like that. But it is getting harder and harder to achieve it. Harder and harder to keep up with the timelines. Our delays on some of these materials, garage doors is one of the first things we have to order now.
Right. I've had that experience
5
recently.
months, yeah. I mean, we're up to 4 or 5 months turn time on some of these things. Tiles, what it boils down to is we're somewhat unable to deliver that customization to people. And I think,
sorry, go ahead.
well, I think that's why a lot of builders are shying away from it. It's not to go get top dollar. It's not to keep pushing this market up. I think pushing the market up, we can all agree, you as an agent, me as a builder, the lenders, everybody, that's not a good thing, right?
No.
We need
it's difficult for all of us because like you said, you're getting creative as builders. We're trying to get more creative as agents to get, help our clients be more successful in this market.
Right.
So I think it's difficult all the way around. And I think that it's difficult for the buyers in this market, not so much for sellers because it is a seller's market, right? But for buyers right now because they're trying to get in the market and sometimes it's more difficult than not.
I think people feel like beat up, you get in there, you make offer after offer. You see a home you want, you see it's under construction. We're not trying to get people into bidding wars. We're not trying to, maximize profits. That's not what it is right now. I think there's a lot of unforeseens. I've had to hire more and more staff onto our company just to try and, be aware of our costs and where costs are going and predicting that. And I do think, when builders get through the rough ends on a house, they get their selections done, they know those are the materials they can get. They're willing to release a price at that point. And, the price is going to be market, right?
Yeah.
And so...
Well, everybody's in business, right?
Yeah.
So builders
and the materials and stuff, I mean, honestly, the cost of our homes are past market, right? But just to cover that and make our margins, even if they are down, one thing, talking to being creative and stuff, my garage, my wife, our garage is packed full of appliances, right? There's not an appliance package that comes in on my job on schedule. The home's closing before those appliances
That was going to be
show
one
up.
of my questions is, are your finishes and your appliances coming in on time? Because I know that,
No.
so we have these closing dates, right? They're estimated closing dates that we have in our contracts. And I think that it's difficult because when buyers see a contract and they see a closing date, they think that is going to be the exact closing date when in fact it's an estimated closing date. I know that from my previous experience in the last couple of years, most builders have been able to meet those closing dates on time, if not before that actual closing date. But now some of those are getting pushed out, a week or 2 weeks or even a couple months just because they can't actually get all the finishes and appliances and those types of things. So are you actually being able to meet your closing dates or have you had to, are you in that flexible position as well?
Like you said, it's a case by case. Some of that boils down to jurisdictional, right? Ada County, I can get a permit if we really get rock and roll, and I can get a permit in a week or two.
Okay.
Canyon County, we get into a situation, 2.5 month turn times. City of Nampa, same thing. If there's any floodplain, septic, stuff like that we're dealing with, on constantly, all those things are more and more and more time. And so it's a case by case. And then when we get into the materials, we've been assured by our lumber suppliers and all these guys, you will get the materials. But if anybody's trying to stockpile materials to keep costs down right now, they're putting a lot of builders in check. They're not allowing that kind of stuff. The reality of that is if they do that for me, they got to do it for the next guy. We're all out of materials, right? And so it's been a pretty delicate dance, on the appliances and stuff. Like I said, I rotate probably 5 or 6 appliance packages through my garage at my home. The kids have to keep their bikes away from them and stuff, just to ensure that we can be as close to that close date as possible. But with some of these permitting deals and the shortages we are seeing, it's more of an educated guess. You think about the turn on a home build from signing a contract with you to permits, there's 2.5 months, and then you've got 6 months construction. A lot can happen in 8+ months. And so it's an estimate. We used to revisit that date at framing. We've kind of had to now push that back. We'll revisit that date at cabinets. Then we can pretty well nail down, with delays and this and that, where we're going to be on a close. Yeah.
So with some of your builds that you're doing, have you had to go back to your clients and the buyers, the home buyers, and say, we actually can't get this tile, or we can't get this flooring, so we're going to have to do some switches in here and be flexible with what you're using?
Yeah, and that's tough. I think that's tough on a lot of custom home builders. There's a lot of us here in town, like we aim to deliver. My wife is my interior designer. She works really hard with clients, and from our conversations at home on the couch, those are the things we talk about. We work hard to make that happen for people, but it's getting harder to do, right? And I think that's another reason builders are shying away. Instead of us telling people, no, we can't do that, we can't do that, materials won't be here, it's almost easier to not have that conversation. Remove yourself from that conversation. Get the materials we know we can get the home finished, get it on the market. At least we're putting homes into the market, but we are.
Which comes back to my point, with my clients, right, who are like, well, we love this home, it's only in the framing stage, we'd love to get in. If we can get in, if we can get those finishes, but we don't like that tile, can we change that tile?
Right. That's a tough one.
Case by case for you, but a lot of builders I've worked with recently are like, absolutely not. This is the package that we've ordered. This is what's going in. And even though they've said no, sometimes they still have to make those changes because they haven't been able to get the right finishes in that they've ordered already.
And then I think also too, just like you were saying, half the time all that material was ordered at foundation. When we used to get through framing, once we started sheetrocking, that's when we'd pull the trigger on all selections. That turn time's moved way further forward. Your appliances need to be ordered at foundation. Your garage doors need to be ordered, style, brand, all of that. And so it is, when people are cruising by, it's at framing, can we do this? You had a question in here 2 years ago to now. 2 years ago? Absolutely. We would have loved to have somebody come in, purchase that model, carry it through selections, and that's a pre-sold. That we look at that as money in the bank, right?
And we've actually worked together and did something like that before, where my clients were able to choose the finishes, and you guys were super fun to work with, and flexible and everything. But
and for
now
us,
it's just a little bit,
because when the home's done, we're closing. We don't have another 30 days on market, So I think it's lost on builders and stuff right now. That is our preferred method. We want those homes closed. We want to be to the next project. But the reality is, just like you were saying, all that stuff's been ordered, or to switch gears at this point, it's just getting harder and harder to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I hear that from all the builders that I'm talking with. So let me ask you this, and to just give our viewers some perspective on 2x4s and OSB, what was the prices that you were seeing even just a year ago with those types of supplies?
This will be a fun one. Okay. It's April Fool's Day.
It is, actually.
So we should
today,
do something fun.
But this is going to be viewed tomorrow.
Right. So here's just to give you some figures, right?
Okay.
Basically today, last year, right? COVID was just getting going. Things were getting crazy. Lumber market actually kind of collapsed a little bit.
Did it?
Right? Yeah, okay. It dipped off a little. You look at the cost of a sheet of plywood. Today, last year, it was $1,200 to $14 a sheet.
Okay.
As we sit here today, that same sheet of plywood's $40 to $45 a sheet now,
That's insane.
and it's not done yet.
Yeah.
We've met with our lumber companies, our suppliers, trying to understand and forecast where the market's going.
And why? Do you know why that is? As far as like why lumber is going up so much? Is it just demand because of the demand across the country?
It is. It's not regional. It's across the country, just like you said. And there's been some factors, right? When COVID hit, all the plants shut down, material stopped being produced. We burned through our surplus that we had, and especially here in the Pacific Northwest, maybe nationwide, we have a just-in-time supply chain. And so with that supply chain, everything was showing up to the yard, shipped out, to the yard, shipped out. And that was in all aspects of construction, residential and commercial. Nowadays, that surplus is gone. That supply chain is being hammered on right now. And so, yeah, you're definitely seeing with costs and stuff, that's just one instance. If you let some of your fans and stuff do the math on that. What one sheet of plywood, when you figure we deliver on the average home 5 bunks of plywood at 80 sheets a bunk with a $40 a sheet increase. If we would have spent $8,000 today, last year on plywood, and you asked me to sell it for you today, I'd have sold it at $526K. So you would have made $522,000.
Damn, I knew we were in the wrong business.
Yeah, on plywood, gentlemen. Yeah,
Wow,
plywood.
that's amazing.
Mind blowing. Yeah,
That's crazy.
yeah. Even today, if you could find plywood today at $40 a sheet, you can only buy
This
one.
is good though. Don't edit this out.
Okay, yeah.
No,
if you
we're
could buy
gonna use
plywood
this. This is good stuff.
today at $40 a sheet, we're being told plywood's going to 65. I think that's another reason why you don't see builders pricing a home out. If I price you a house today and I don't ship lumber for another 60 days, and it goes from 40 to 60, an extra $20 a sheet on, 400 sheets a house, then we're talking siding. Then we're talking sheetrock. Electrical. My electricians are forecasting their wires up 30, 40%. HVAC, their steel's up 30, 40%. I think you kind of have a situation brewing where production's down because of COVID and everything, but demand, people want out. I think you're seeing people are migrating out of the cities.
They are.
Right? And they want to move. They've got that equity. People are still moving into the cities too. So I don't really know that whole side of it, but the materials increase, it is weekly from our subcontractors. I've hired 3 more people in the last 90 days just to help us fight those battles on the increases.
Wow.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
at
amazing.
400 sheets of plywood,
Yeah.
and a $20 increase is $8,000.
Right.
It just goes away
Yeah.
that quick.
Yeah. Go on.
In 60 days.
60
30
days. I will say my average home, from when we sign a contract to when that house starts now, this is a 2,500 square foot, single level, standard build, right? 3 bed, 2 bath, 3-car garage. That home, the lumber package from the time I quote your client to the time I ship, that difference right now is about $21,000. And so you're seeing about $18,000 to $19,000 in the rough lumber and siding, and then another couple thousand in your trusses, And so that's only talking about 3 of my subcontractors on the job. Then we've got our electricians. Talking about labor, our framing labor. I quoted that house at $5 a foot to get it framed. Here I am 60, 90 days later with the amount of demand we're seeing. I will have to pay $7 or $8 a foot to get that house framed.
So if that's the case, are you doing any type of escalation clauses in your contracts?
Yeah, we are. That's
meaning an escalation clause would be that you have a contract for a certain amount, and then the builder will pay X amount over that for materials and supply, sometimes appreciation, but not always. And then you would be responsible as the buyer to make up the difference in that.
Right.
And
So the
typically
way
the contracts I'm seeing that comes through, most of the builders have, if there's an increase of over 1%, then they will let you know what the new price is, and then let you see if you can, if you can be qualified for that new price.
Right.
So that
Right.
everything I'm
that's
seeing is
exactly
about
what we're doing.
1%.
Yeah,
So-
And this
that's
Bill
exactly
come
what
around.
we're doing.
Let's introduce Bill.
Yeah, Bill's the man.
I think we have to
Bill's the man.
He is.
Bill, I'm doing the same thing. I'll take the ride on 1% of purchase price.
Okay.
Right. So if you're talking a $500,000 home, I'll eat 5. And honestly, I've been eating 5 before I start the house.
Wow.
Beyond that is on the buyer to make that difference up. Otherwise, we'll return their earnest money, and they can cancel the
So
contract.
you'll let them out without
I
taking
kinda
advantage
have
of the
to.
situation. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, that's good to know. So this is Bill Haskins with Finance
Bill.
of America. We happen to be in their studio right now with
Yeah.
Finance of America. So thank you, Bill, for letting us
Yeah.
use your studio.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
But Bill happens to be my go-to lender in the Valley, and he helps
That
out.
was before I had the beard when she was going with me. I'm not so sure if she's liking me so much anymore.
That's right. Yeah.
I just call him Grandpa now.
Yeah.
Grandpa or
right.
Santa, either
Grandpa,
one.
either one.
Right.
But disclaimer, you can always use whatever lender you like, but I do send all of my people to Bill because we've been working together for a long time and we have never missed
Not one.
not one
time.
closing. Mm-mm.
They're local.
Yeah,
And
and
local,
local.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's important too, because I've actually been seeing, we were talking about this the other day, where in the docks contract or the docks area in the MLS, where agents will upload specific documents to give you information about the listing, this one particular team did say local lenders will be preferred
Right.
in this multiple offer situation that we're seeing all the time. So using a local lender is definitely a benefit to you when you're looking to purchase in the area.
Addendums and
Yeah.
stuff. Yeah. Where builders are requiring them to get a local lender approval.
Right.
You don't have to use that lender, but you need to get a local lender approval as well. We are seeing that. I think that kind of speaks to our market right now. If you're an agent bringing a buyer to a builder or, trying to, have your offer entertained, I think it does need to be the least path of resistance right
It
now.
does.
You know
Well,
what I mean?
and I'm also, so I'm just starting to see now because the last couple months interest rates have been started to climb up finally.
Right.
The last couple years they've been trending down. The last couple months they've been starting to trend up. And so now what I'm seeing is that builders are asking the clients, asking the buyers to get an extended rate lock. And
Yeah.
Okay.
fortunately for us, for Finance of America, we do have a 1-year extended rate lock that we can offer our clients.
Okay.
And so we can lock in a rate today. There is a small bump on that rate, and I can go over that, when the time comes.
Right.
But there's a small bump to that rate, and then we have an option where we can float down within 30 days of closing. So if the rate's lower,
Oh,
it's
okay.
actually a
Oh,
free
that's
float
nice.
down, so
Okay.
it actually benefits the buyer. So,
Yeah.
That's
but I
great.
have seen builders where they are requiring that now
Mm-hmm.
Which I
because they're
think is-
concerned about getting them pre-approved.
Right.
Interest rate goes up 0.5 point, and now they no longer qualify.
Right.
So they're asking for those extended rate locks. So
Right.
something to consider that hasn't been happening. So
Right.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's a new
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
Thank you for that.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
Happy birthday.
Oh, thank
Yeah.
you.
Bill's birthday.
Yeah, my birthday.
Yep.
That's not April.
That's not an
Fool's.
April
It's not
Fool's
April
joke.
Fools.
Blame
Right.
my mother on that one.
Right.
So-
Right. Yeah.
Okay, I have a question for you.
Okay.
Are you still building custom homes?
Yes.
Oh, you are?
Right.
Okay.
There needs to be, it's kind of like we were just talking, right? There's got to be some understanding on the buyer's side.
Okay.
I think a lot of people, because they're spending so much money, and it's not lost on us as builders how much money these people are spending
Right.
to build a home. We understand that. I sift through these numbers with my project managers every day. I was a local kid here. It's so it's not lost on me, right? So having said that, with regards to doing a custom build, I think buyer's agents need to be coaching their clients how to approach the situation, how to, how to present themselves to it. Not to say that, it's such a seller's market, we're finicky builders, blah, blah, blah. It's just that right now, the easier path forward is to just continue speccing homes. If you have a client that, really understands the potential increases for materials, the potentials for not being able to get the exact materials they want. I see a lot of people get sideways because they can't get their bathroom backsplash tile. I think people need to understand in this market, we're lucky to get tile in.
Right.
And we're lucky to get the job done.
Right.
And so It is a team effort. I mean, you've been through some builds with us. You understand it's a process, you know, for 5 or 6 months, it's got to be a team deal out there.
It
And so
is.
I think with buyers and stuff, you know, if they're realistic about an escalation clause, or, you know, we, on a lot of build on your own land, we're going from a 5% contingency up to a 10% contingency on these homes. The contract needs to be written and signed at the 10%.
Right.
And so there's no guarantee that you're not going to spend. What I'm seeing is we're spending that contingency amount.
And you want to know that the clients that I'm bringing to you and that other agents are bringing to you are serious,
Absolutely,
right? Because you
yeah.
don't want to go through all these steps in the process
Right.
and have the permits pulled and start on this home, and then something happens and
Right.
they pull out, right? Because then you've wasted your time, your manpower, your money to go ahead and get this project started.
Absolutely.
And then in the
And
long
the way
run, you're
we
out.
and the way I kind of run it is, if we, you know, take a design deposit with a client and go through all of that, and, you know, they don't like what they see, they don't like the process where we're at, understandable. You know, go try elsewhere and do that elsewhere. For us, we're going to continue on with the build. I've spent that time with the plans, like, we're going to build that home and continue on. And what builders know right now today, somebody's going to buy that house.
Right.
Right.
And what's
Right.
the first step for knowing that your buyer is serious?
Pre-approval.
Yes. Right.
Good answer.
Right. Yeah.
I was like, is this a trick
This
question?
is a trick question.
Right. Yeah, the pre-approval is a big one.
Yeah,
Like you
definitely have
said,
to have that
having all
pre-approval.
that. And then I know, speaking for myself and where we're getting with costs, you know, what used to be a 5% deposit of purchase price from a buyer, you know, now we're talking 10, 20% deposits.
Right.
And that's, you know, you think about the cost of materials alone. If I go in and paint your house with pink walls and purple tile, and you guys default on that design deposit for us is going to keep us moving forward.
Right, because that's going to be hard for you to turn around and sell a house
sure.
with purple paint, right?
Well, and then on our side of it too, Rebel, is it's more of we're taking a design deposit to give you that service, right? If we're going to do the custom side and we're going to offer that to you and go through the process, design
Which
selection.
is not something that, like, every project you
Yeah.
take on, you're going to allow
Right.
to do, right? So it's
Absolutely.
basically
And so,
a
like you
case by
said,
case basis.
That's how we kind of vet out who's serious and who's not.
So can you help me with how I can help my clients position themselves best with builders right now in this market? Like, if you had advice for my buyers and my relocators out there, what would be like the 1 or 2 pieces of advice that you would give them to help them succeed?
Yeah. The first 2 things is be patient,
Okay.
right?
Absolutely. I think that's the best one.
I've got 25 phone calls since we were sitting here. Everybody wants to know where theirs is at. And I understand that. Again, it's not lost on the builders, but patience. You know, we were supposed to get numbers back on a house last week. It happened yesterday. You know, the patience there from the buyers and the agent they need to understand what we're going through to get them what they're asking for.
Right.
We're building a lot of people's dream homes. We have 40 plus houses in our builder trend going right now. Those are dream homes spoken for all kinds of clients. They need to understand it is a team situation.
We all want them to be successful.
Absolutely.
You want them to be happy
Nobody's
with the
here
product.
to blackball anybody.
Right. And I think
yeah.
that that's maybe a miss in this
Yeah,
market
I
right
do
now
too.
because
Yeah.
I feel like it's almost like buyers versus builders.
I agree. Yeah.
And then
Everybody's
the agents
in
are
their
sort of in
corner.
between,
Right.
and we're trying to
Right.
manage everybody's expectations and emotions and,
And there's
timelines.
a lot of money on the table.
And there
people's
is, right.
livelihoods. And again, I know, speaking for all builders, that's not lost on anybody and agents, you know, I mean, and so it is a delicate dance. But I do think buyers need to come to the table with expectations that go with our market right
Right.
now, which is you're going to need to put your cash in to show how serious you are about wanting to build a home. You're going to have to be understanding of the fact that price is open-ended here for a little bit.
Yeah.
You
And
know
I
what
think
mean?
that that's the
Yeah.
hardest part right now is
Yeah.
for buyers with those open-ended pricings.
And we've been telling, you know, our interior designer, Allison Fuller, you know,
Who is
a rock star. My wife. Yes.
His wife?
Yes.
She's amazing.
Yeah, I was going to give her a shout out without the wife part. Yeah. But,
No, but I love her. She's great.
she is, and she's so accommodating to people. But the reality is we've kind of had to change our tone and fall in line with some of the other builders, things that we weren't seeing that those guys were seeing before us. And that is, think of a theme for your home, not a specific tile, not a specific flooring, not it's this way or the highway, because in a lot of these situations, builders aren't able to deliver, with the turn times and the delays and stuff that we're dealing with. People need to be flexible, right? Be flexible in your selections. If you don't get the exact backsplash you want, get your home closed, get into that equity, get your
So most people that I've experienced right now who are getting into spec homes are walking into a significant amount of equity just within a couple of months.
Right.
So I think that that's one thing that people have to keep their eye on the prize, that it's
For
not
sure.
just, you're not just getting your home at X amount, you're also gaining all that equity, and you don't have to go through the process of looking for a home and securing a home and
Right. Well,
just getting your foot in the door in this market, because just getting your foot in the door in this market is big. It's tough.
And we've been having some tough conversations with buyers lately about price increases. We're re-quoting our homes the day we start them.
Yeah.
And it's up to that buyer to make a decision. I do still think what you said rings very true. People need to keep their eye on the prize. You're here to upgrade your home. You're here to improve your quality of life. You're here to do a lot of things.
Your lifestyle, the time you have with your family,
Absolutely.
right?
And
just the cost of living in general is a lot less from a lot of places I'm helping people relocate from. So
you see a $25,000 increase on your home, that's a staggering figure. That's not lost on us or you as the agent.
No.
The flip side of that coin is if your home gained, $50,000 to $100,000 equity along the way,
right,
because of this market, I think people do need to keep their eye on the prize and, just be realistic, be flexible.
Right. And it's not supposed to end anytime soon. From all the data that I've read and articles that I've read, we're on this trend. So if you feel like you're waiting for the bubble to burst, you might be waiting for a while.
Well, we were talking earlier before we started shooting, people with their home projects and this and that. I even myself, I'm teetering back and forth to build my own home. And I'm sitting here going, gosh, if I don't do it now, I'm looking at the potential for material increases myself. And so I do think, if you're on the fence about doing it, look at the cost of, I think, waiting, because all of our suppliers, all of our vendors, they've assured us this isn't a short-term thing. This is here to stay. Boise, my big lumber companies are investing in growth. Boise's going to get big.
It is.
Really big. And so I think the pricing's here to stay. I think the material increases are here to stay. If you have an opportunity to get in now and you've been on the fence, I would, do it now.
I was talking with another agent from our brokerage, actually, and he was saying that one of the homes that they recently listed, they listed it for, I want to say like 5 something, and within a 6-month increase, they increased it, is that a word? Increased it by $80,000 in 6 months. Yeah. So that's a huge jump. But anyhow,
huge. Yeah.
Did we cover everything?
I think so. I do want to say in closing, I think obviously this is foreign to myself as somebody who's a local here, this growth that we're seeing and stuff, but I don't think it's never been seen before. I mean, this happens. Our town is on the map, our little town of Boise, I think about, I used to BMX bike all around here, and our town is growing. The growth is here to stay.
And it's not just in Boise too, right? So it's all of Ada County, even Canyon County.
Eastern Idaho.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's
we're
just all
seeing it
growing.
over there. It is. And again, the secret's out. I think the growth is here to stay. I think the demand is here to stay. And so, know that as home builders, as agents, as an industry, as lenders, we're here to help the consumer, the client, right? At the end of the day, my business is, I'm in the service industry, you're in the service industry. Building homes is what we do. We're trying to kick out as many houses as we can. People just need to be realistic and understanding that, things are a little crazy right now.
And I think the one thing I want to point out too is that downstairs before Tyler and I started having this conversation, we were sitting on the couch and we started talking, and you brought to the point that you're in this because you love the people and because you want to build them a good product.
Right.
And it's not about the short-term game for you.
Right.
It is about the long-term game.
For sure.
And I think that that's a lot of things that people have to, or a good point rather, that everybody should be aware of, is that we're all in this for the long-term game, not for the short term. So it's to our best interest to give you the best customer service and highest level of customer service that we can at this point, whether it's on the lending side for Bill or you as a builder or myself as an agent.
We're not going to retire off any one job.
No.
You know what I mean? And so you're exactly right. I mean, it's, you know, our market goes up, it goes down, the industry changes. I mean, gosh, it's always changing, right? But at the end of the day,
even in the last 6 months, it's changed drastically.
it's a whole different world.
Yeah.
A year ago was a whole different world. And so that's, you know, we're constantly trying to keep up with change, keep up with growth, you know, and bring some relief to the market. So I think people need to be patient.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Tyler, for joining me and taking the time. I know you're super, super busy.
Oh, man.
But thank you for taking the time and joining me today.
Yeah, Rebel, we appreciate you. And I'm glad you're getting the word out. I want people to understand, you know, that.
Lena, cheers.
Yeah, cheers to you. I want people to understand, you know, we're here. We're here for the consumer. You guys are here for the consumer, so are we. And, you know, we just got to get through this. It's a teamwork. Yeah,
we definitely are.
Yeah.
So thanks so much for joining us today. Again, I'm rebelann-mueller with Better Homes and Gardens, 43 Degrees North Real Estate. If you're interested in relocating to the area, don't forget about that relocation guide down below. Just click that link. It'll go straight to your inbox. I also have a new Canyon County relocation guide. That link will be down below also. So until next Friday.
To our website too.
And a link to your website.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Check us out. B&B Custom Homes.
Yeah, that'll be in there as well. So have a great Friday, everybody. I'll see you next week.